Are back for yet another Home Arcade podcast, and we are live here every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can come, you can hang out, I'll show you around. Today we're going to be talking about Sega and Arcade1Up and how Sega is going to play a huge role in Arcade1Up going from 3 million cabinets sold to 4 million. I've been looking at it, I've been taking polls, I've been looking at it. We all want Sega cabinets, and to my knowledge, I believe they've only came out with 2 before, and that is, Golden Axe and Outrun. If they came out with a third one and I forgot which one it is, comment below. I must have forgot. But today we have some voicemails. We're going to hear from people in the community. They are also pressuring Arcade1Up to come out with more things Sega, and the titles are pretty obvious. They're on the thumbnail. We're going to be talking about those, my excitement for those titles. I want to hear your excitement for whatever Sega titles that you think that Arcade1Up will come out with. Listen, Arcade1Up, they do listen to the community, especially when it comes to titles. You may say, we just came out of CES, and CES didn't give us anything new. And that's right. All of the cabinets that came out of CES are re-releases. Even the Killer Instinct is technically a re-release because that is a cabinet that they had previously. It's just a Pro Line version now. But here's the deal, guys. Here's the thing you have to remember. At E3 time, that's when we typically see the new big cabinets. Remember Star Wars when that came out? When they unveiled it, it was so great. That was an E3 event. We're going to be talking about the Atari Star Wars, and now I think they may actually re-release that version as well. Maybe we'll talk, we'll see exactly what that means. Boy, we got a lot to cover today, so let's just jump right in. We got to jump right in, guys. So when you take a look at the Arcade1Up cabinets that are out, that are available now, that's cool. People are excited about it, but guess what? We want more. But before we jump into that, I have to talk about the sponsor of tonight's episode, and that is Old School Gaming Magazine. You can use the coupon code KITS to save $5 on a 1-year subscription. I'm going to break it down real quick and explain what that is. Now, don't get paid for any of this. Literally, I try to make the universe grow, the retro gaming universe grow. And Ryan Berger is a friend of mine. He lives, seriously, a couple miles away from me. The only reason why we have the kits, it's just to track how well promotions work on YouTube. That's a favor for him, and I'm just telling him, yeah, let's try it out. Maybe, I'm not a huge YouTuber, but if it helps grow your business, then go take on a bigger one. So we're trying it out. So I want to explain to you, this is how you can get this magazine. There's a free version that's available. All you need is your email address. You provide the email address to them. 6 issues per year, completely free. Now, if you want to pay $10 a year, keep in mind, you can save money because Ryan's running this test to see if promotions help grow his magazine. You can save $5 by using that coupon code. Now, the version that I have is the print version, okay? So this is the print version of the magazine. And here's the thing, the magazine's really, really sick to have. Remember back in the day, you had a magazine. This is something that you can put where you read things, and read all these articles. The articles are actually really, really good, and I got permission to be able to read one part because it's passionate to me, super exciting, and I'm going to talk about it just for a second. And so, do you guys remember the Xbox hacks that came out? Do you guys remember that? I'm going to read this one part of the article. So it's talking about the exploits mark the spot. It's from the Old School Gaming Magazine. It says, with the inclusion of the customized version of the Windows operating system and the 8 gigabyte, remember 8 gigabytes, guys? Hard drive, it did not take long for hackers to dive deep into the challenge of hacking the Microsoft's first dedicated gaming console. And here's where I totally remember this happening. MIT graduate Andrew Hung, we called him Bunny in the industry, right? He was the one that reverse engineered the Xbox and found ways to exploit the console, wrote a book on it. The information got out there. And what happened? Hackers came in and they made mod chips based on his design. And here's my question to you. You guys remember that? Because in this article, it talked about how you could later soft mod it based on exploits from save games. So I want to hear from you in the comments. What games could you use on the original Xbox to be able to exploit using the soft mod? There was a step there was a set of games that you could actually use. And I had my game that I always kept because that was the CD that I could use to do soft mods. And it's because the game save was something that was like an executable. So hackers would take another save, would modify the save game. And when you go to restore your save, it would do the hack, and it would rewrite the firmware in such a way where you could, play copied games and things like that. But I want to hear from you. If you remember what game that is, they have it listed out in this magazine. And I just took a very, very small portion of that article to kind of get you excited about it. You can read more of it for free on the website just by giving the email address. And then, of course, what you want to do, you can buy these older magazines as well. They have reissues, and you can subscribe for $25 a year with my coupon code, and you get 6 issues per year. So go check out Old School Gamer Magazine. Thank you so much for being my friend, and that's why we're calling it a sponsor. But it's more of like a, hey, it's my friend, and I want to tell you guys about it. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into the topic of the day, and that is right here, the Arcade1Up Star Wars that has been out for a while. Have you guys seen this on eBay? They are going for a pretty penny. And when I show you the listing here on eBay, I'm not showing you items that are available right now. I'm showing you items that have sold. We're talking about new in-box Star Wars, $1,800 right here. Free shipping. What about this one? $1,900. These are cabinets that you can buy right now. It's because Arcade1Up doesn't have these in stock anymore. They don't have them available anymore. And I think it's prime for us to see a re-release of the Atari Star Wars. Some people have been talking about that, and maybe we'll see like a leaderboard version of it. But that's Atari. That's not what you came here for. What you came here for was to talk about some of the other possibilities out there. So let's jump right in. So you got your Golden Axe. That is available from Arcade1Up right now. I want to mention that as well because that is a Sega cabinet that I've had people comment and say, hey, like, if they came out with the Golden Axe again, I would totally buy it. I'm like, well, here's an interesting thing. It's actually still available. The Sega Golden Axe was a very interesting cabinet that came out. It was originally less expensive, like $399 when it came out. And then we got all those price increases, and it's actually still available. And I think it sold pretty well, but they still have some in stocks. And I think maybe they did like a second run and then the price increased. And so they still have some in stock. So if you want to get the Golden Axe, this was done by Code Mystics. And so they do really good emulation. This is not a game that I'm passionate about, but everyone who has it that loves Golden Axe loves this cabinet. So I can't say enough about it. What about Outrun? Outrun was another Sega cabinet. Now, why I'm talking about these older cabinets is because I'm painting a story, drawing this conclusion that I think these cabinets were test Sega cabinets. They're not starting out with Sega with the big titles that they know they'll make a lot of money on. I think Sega was testing the waters with them because these are the cabinets that appeal to some people but are not the big ones that are just going to blow us all away. And what are those titles? Well, it's the Star Wars arcade, but I'm not talking about this one. This is the 1993 Star Wars that I'm hoping does actually have a release from Arcade1Up, but not as a marquee title, but as a pack-in game for the Star Wars trilogy. This was made by Sega. This came out in 93. It's not the sought-after game from the community that people are asking for, but I do want to talk about how, what if they just took this game and threw it in the Sega arcade trilogy? Why not, right? Because how many games are you going to be able to put on that machine? If you don't add this, I think it's just going to have one. It's going to be like T2, and then we'll get into that debate again of like, oh, T2 only has one game on it, and then the Star Wars arcade trilogy has only got one game on it. We'd be like, well, it kind of has 3 games on it. We're like, no, it has one game. You can play in Hoth and, the different places with the Star Wars trilogy, but right, it's just 1998, one game. So let's talk about which version of that 1998 that would probably see. So Star Wars Trilogy Arcade came out in 1998. This is by Sega, so this is definitely something that we could see because Arcade1Up has done Sega in the past. I just showed you two, so that's possible. They've also done a Star Wars pinball machine, so we know they've worked with Lucasfilm. They've done Marvel, so they worked with Marvel. So they've worked with Disney. Like, I don't think anything's stopping them from doing it unless these games have some weird music license. John Williams' son played a part on one of them and they haven't cleared that yet. I don't know. But I imagine they're working their way into these later 90s games because of the computation power that it requires. But there were multiple versions. This one on the right is what I think actually Arcade1Up would come out with. It's the Sega Star Wars Trilogy, the CRT version. This one had a CRT. Of course, Arcade1Up's not going to do a CRT. Hopefully, it's at least a 19-inch screen. That would be nice. Maybe this would be considered a Pro line. It'd probably be more expensive, is my guess. Everything that they come out with that's really expensive, I'm hoping and praying that they'll come out with a Partycade version. Like, why aren't we seeing a Partycade version of the Atari Star Wars? Like, that would give more people access to that game. But let's talk about this one. There is actually two models. This is not the model that I'm familiar with, but this is interesting. I am more nostalgic for the other version. So the other version is the rear projection version, right? This is the one that I played a long time ago, and this is the one I see at auctions. I don't ever see this CRT version. What do you guys think? Is this a version that you would see more often, or did you see the rear projection version? But I don't see how they could Arcade1Up could do a rear projection unless this is some type of like counter or couchcade scenario where they just give you the flight stick and then it wirelessly connects to your television and they're like, hey, we'll give you the control panel, you do the 50-inch screen in your arcade room. That would be really sweet. I just don't think they're going to do it. You know, what I think they'll do is come out with a cabinet that looks more like this. They'll get that artwork. It won't be as boxy, you know, because they're going to try to reduce it, but it will have that really high mark, that big flame marquee with this little Star Wars logo at the top. But I think the control panel won't have all this extra space on the left and right. It's probably going to be like that 22-inch wide control panel like we're hearing about with the Mortal Kombat version that came out. This has like a wider control panel. My guess is you take this width and you put it here, right? And then a smaller screen, and boom, you got the Star Wars, trilogy. But what about the game? So the gameplay on this 1998 version, you can select the 3 areas, and the graphics are pretty good. This is a Model 3 system, and this will be really cool because, I have a lot of nostalgia for Star Wars in general. Never really played the Atari version back as a kid. I was born in 81, and I didn't go to the arcade a ton. But this version of the Star Wars Atari was not something that was that I remember playing constantly. My brother was like, yeah, we used to go to the arcade and play it. I must have been really young. But the graphics on this look really great. I think the graphics on this would appeal to a lot of people in their 30s and 40s and 50s. It's just something they gotta have. Like, the Star Wars trilogy comes out 1998. It's Sega. Like, I don't know. For me, I think the replayability on this would be a lot of fun. Families would be involved playing it. And then they could do like multiple dip switches and levels, like make it harder and not as hard. And I think maybe that could increase the replayability of this cabin. Plus, if you love Star Wars, you're a Star Wars fan, then you're going to buy it, right? But I also want to talk about this thing that I saw, Send-In Light Gun. Did you guys see that Star Wars Trilogy is a part of the Send-In Light Gun technology that's claimed on their site? And I do not think Arcade1Up, they're not going to do like a Send-In. I mean, I don't think so. Like, could you do like a couchcade that's using Send-In? I just don't see it working. I just don't really see it working. But anyway, I wanted to mention that because some people are into the modding scene, and if they want to play Star Wars Trilogy, you can kind of build your own. And I just saw this video that just came out recently, and it shows Sega Model 3 Send-In on a Linux emulator, and it says no bezel, and I'm not really sure. This kind of looks like it's a projector, but here it is. They're playing, as they claim, with the crosshairs, playing with a Send-In gun. Now, I wouldn't buy an Arcade1Up that uses that technology, but I think it's cool. I definitely want to try this out. I definitely want to try playing this game with a Send-In light gun. It makes me want to go buy a Send-In light gun because I haven't at this point. And like that, being able to play some of these games on my own machine that I built myself, and at least trying it out. I don't know. I probably wouldn't build a machine. I would just play it on my computer or something like that. But anyway, that is the Star Wars part of the section of this video. I'd love to hear what you guys think. We got more topics. This is a long-running podcast, and we're going to continue on with more topics. But I want to freeze and see what the audience says about Star Wars Arcade. But before we get into that, so, type in Star Wars down in the comment if you're here live. Give me your thoughts on it. We're going to play a voicemail. We have a series of voicemails to play. We do that every single week, and oh my gosh, we got some really great ones here. Twisted Chris called in, and we got to hear from Twisted first. Let's see what he says about Sega and Arcade1Up and what he's hoping that Arcade1Up will come out with this year. Here's Twisted.
Hey, this is Twisted Chris from Twisted Gaming. I want to see something like House of the Dead,
House of the Dead,
Daytona, and Console Kids. You know who I am.
I know who you are.
Hey, CT,
You're
Jason,
turd.
What do you want to see?
Hey, man. Hey, everybody. I want to see Daytona and Virtual Fighter, man.
What?
That'd be really cool. Awesome, man.
Oh.
Y'all have a great show tonight, all right?
Oh, jeez. Twisted trying to do the voice of CT Jason. CT Jason doesn't sound anything like that. Let me show you what CT Jason sounds like.
Hey, what's up, Justin? It's me, CT Jason. Now, I heard your question about Sega and Arcade1Up teaming up, bringing out some stuff in 2022.
What?
And for this one, I hope I'm right. All right, hear me out real quick.
I'll hear you
they
out.
They need to come out with a virtual series of cabinets, starting off with Virtual Fighter 1, 2, and 3 on the cabinet. Boom. Then they can be Virtual Cop.
Whoa,
1, 2, and
Virtual
3
Cop.
on the shooting cabinet. Boom. Then finish that up with Virtual Racing in Daytona USA 1 and 2 on the racing cabinet.
No way.
Bam. 3 virtual cabinets, a virtual series, instant money in their pocket.
Instant money in your pocket.
That's what I think. That's my opinion. I'm going to tune in for the show. I enjoy your stuff, brother.
I
I'll see
enjoy
y'all
you,
later.
brother. All right, so that's CT Jason of his own YouTube channel. I'm showing off some of his content right here, and he's totally going to give me a copyright claim after this video. Go check it out. CT Jason does wonderful stuff here on YouTube. His home arcade tour of 2022 is amazing. He has other reviews on X-Men. If you want to hear a man scream at you, but also with comedy, and tell you what he thinks about The Simpsons, X-Men, and some other cabinets he has. I think he's at like 23 cabinets. He has a great video. He does a ranking of all his favorite arcade games between Arcade1Up and AtGames and iArcade. One of the pillars, the new pillars in the community of a great new content creator in our space. You got to check it out. And thank you so much for always calling in every week. I always love your opinions and thoughts on it. So we're talking about Sega, and we got so many listed here, right? We got, what CT Jason wants, right, is this entire virtual series. So dude, CT Jason, you need to make a video that's called the virtual series prediction. Like, go through, re-explain that whole thing, and say what you would really want to see from Arcade1Up and Sega, because that's a really cool theme. That's a cool idea. This idea that they continue to come out with cabinets with the word virtual in it and kind of explain how all those games, those virtual game series, are really, really awesome, and we want to see it from Arcade1Up. Such a good content creator. But anyway, so good. We got CT's Jason here, and he's like, but he wants to see, let's see, hold on, that was the sponsor. So we're going to go to the chat here. We'll flip it over here. CT Jason, he's saying Virtual Fighter 1, 2, and 3 on a single cab, 100%. That's what he wants to see. How to Bachelor with the Sega Star Wars trilogy. Yes, that would be awesome, Papa. What did Papa say? Star Wars trilogy could be a win. I think that would be an amazing cabinet, Star Wars. And basically, I don't care if you don't agree with me. I'm only looking for... See, Nostalgia, he doesn't agree with me. He says, Nostalgia's saying, babycades, that's where it's at. More babycades are coming, and that's what he wants to see. But Lewis says we need a Sega Legacy. A Sega Legacy, the Legacy Arcade1Up cabinets that are out there, that's what he wants to see. Hollywood Polo, Justin, whatever would I be? I don't know what you're trying to say. That's pretty funny, though. All right, so we got, we're talking about the mod chip. Okay, Frank D is saying, I think you should use a flight stick for stuff like Afterburner and Space Harry, albeit the better quality plastic for the flight stick. So let's talk about that real quick. There's a ton of people that have been talking about that, and I got it pulled up here. What about a Sega Afterburner Arcade? It's another Sega title. A lot of people have been asking for it, and I think some of these titles are like, you would never mod it, and some of them you would totally mod it. And this one, I think, goes into if they come out with the Sega Afterburner, people would buy this for the mod. I don't really think that if they do some type of online leaderboard, that a ton of people would be like, oh my gosh, I got Afterburner, and I got to chase those leaderboards. It'd be like, oh my God, I love the cabinet look. It only came with one game. I'm totally using this as a base to mod. And I wonder if Arcade1Up is going to cater to that community where they're like, hey, here's your mod cabinet. Or they're more like, like this idea of, we're going to do the Star Wars trilogy cabinet. You're going to buy it and you're not going to mod it, right? Like, because you swap out the PCB. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're like, I would totally get the Star Wars trilogy and mod it just the same. I just think there would actually be a community for some of these high scores, at least for a while. And then, it would be such a great cabinet. So I go to that right away. But what do you guys think of the Sega Afterburner? So I've said this before. I don't think they would ever come out with like this version of the Sega the enclosure cabinets. I just don't see them coming. I think they would come up with a cabinet more like this, and it's just got a stick on the front, and basically that's it. But while we're on the topic of Sega, and we're constantly talking about Sega, there are other people that have an opinion about that, and let's hear from Dragons Gamer himself what he thinks about this whole Arcade1Up Sega. I think it's a really good point he makes.
Hi, Console Cats and everyone. This is Dragon Gamer. For me personally, I think
This is, by the way, the exact opposite of CT Jason. This is like CT Jason's nemesis. You got CT Jason, and you got, hey, Console Kids, we got this Dragons Gamer here. They both do. I don't know. CT Jason probably sounds like that, but this guy's doing a character, right?
Arcade1Up to the following arcade machines. 1. Release House of the Dead 1 and 2. Primal Rage 1 and 2. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Aliens, Rastan, R-Type, Aliens vs. Predator, and focus on Daytona USA online play and link cabinets for all these machines.
Wow.
And do a sit-down release. Hopefully they'll release us during the fall. And charge $1,000. Cause I think
they're totally going to charge $1,000, that's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. So, his audio froze up. Sorry about that. So, for sure, the Daytona USA. Let's talk about that. I think the Daytona... Hold on. There it is.
Anyways, take care, everyone.
Okay. That Dragons Gamer, that's a silly one. Okay, so Dragons Gamer is saying... The one that I spotted on there that I think would be amazing, I've heard multiple people in the community talk about this, is the Daytona USA. And enough people have said that. What's Twisted Game? Is this Mr. Bean? I don't know what that... Sometimes I come in, it's a Sesame Street voice. Yeah, Dragons Gamer does a Sesame Street voice. Anyway, Daytona Arcade. Enough people have talked about this that I truly believe that there's no other way to do this. If they come out with Daytona USA, it's a linkable cabinet. Like, it feels like it's going to be a huge miss if they don't. I think they'll eventually do Daytona USA, but it's got to be linkable. Now, there's a couple different ways and technologies that can make it linkable. I was thinking about it. Like, what if they make it linkable just simply because it's an online gameplay? Like, they actually integrate it where, it's a multiplayer arcade ROM, and it's a net play game, kind of like a Street Fighter, right? So you could, and this would be a really cool idea, you could go to play your Daytona. Let's say you bought 2, because there's some people out there that are huge Daytona USA fans that will totally buy 2. Like, let me know if you're in that part. Like, you would even consider it. Like, in the live chat, let me know if you're, like, you would buy 2. I don't think everyone would, but someone would. But here's the idea. It's net play, so I could buy one, you could buy one in your house and we could race together. But when you do the online, not leaderboard, but when you do the online gameplay, imagine you open the menu and there's a local play option. And when you do local play, it's just in your home. It's just like you have 2 units and you're like, oh, detected the other Daytona that's on the same network. Do you want to do a head-to-head? Or do you want to do, this linkable mode? And now you're not playing really in a lobby system that's with the collective people. It's actually just local. But if you only bought 1, or maybe you still bought 2, you want to compete with other people, you could do that. That would be pretty nice. Now, in the research for this, I was like, I was doing a little bit of research, and I found this Daytona USA video. Now, this is by Sega America. This is one of their official videos in here talking about Daytona. You got to check it out. Sega's probably going to sue me for actually like playing this video. I'm not going to just like sit there, but I want to highlight it because if you're already excited about Daytona, this video goes in and talks about the creator behind Daytona USA. And the creator is about to be shown on here in just a moment. And he talks about how, what is it? Like the number 41 was just like a lucky number for him. So he chose the number 41 for the Daytona race car. And when jump into the end, he kind of did this exciting thing where he talked about how he didn't really know how popular Daytona was until 10 years later. 10 years later, he was at a place and he still sees people playing Daytona and having a lot of fun. And it was like this moment where he realized, he's like, wow, that was a success. Like Daytona was a success. Not only did people love it when it came out, but people still love it years later. They're still playing Daytona in some arcades, right? So you got to check out that video. After this video is over, I'll copy this link into the description and make sure that that's available. I'll put it as a card if you're watching in the replay, so you can go check it out. I thought it was a really cool video, and I didn't know any of that about Daytona USA. But I want to hear from you, those in the live chat. What do you guys think about Daytona USA? And I just realized I think I can hook up this tool that I have real quick, and it would help me be able to find live chat. I totally forgot that this tool that I made a while back. Here it is, talking about the tool again. It's still live. I still have it, so I can go into the live stream right now. There it is, and I can filter by keywords. And let's go back to let's start. Everyone type in Daytona, and then give your thoughts about Daytona, and I'll see it right in the chat here. And so people are talking about linkable cabs. Yeah, so Mike was saying it's a good idea on the linkable cab version. Daytona and Ridge Racer is what he wants. So the Ridge Racer cab is something that they did come out with, but he wants more than just Ridge Racer. He wants Daytona as well. CT Jason says, I hope if you get 2 cabs that you can get a discount. That's interesting. It's not going to be a buy one get one free. That's for sure. And I noticed there's a couple super chats. And Stringer Film says, I paid $800 for 2 real Daytonas, plus $200 for parts. And I think he was talking about how he had to repair them. Thanks for the donation. I appreciate that. And RetroRGB says, anyone know if Ridge Racer will be a linkable cab? I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying I wouldn't be surprised that it is. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that Ridge Racer has features that were never talked about, because for some reason Arcade1Up will do that. They'll do that where it's really dumb, I think. It's like, let's surprise people that when they get it, they'll discover these new features. And I just think that's a really bad marketing choice. It's like, it makes it sound like you didn't know that it had the feature, or you weren't confident that you were going to deliver. And so I think you go in here, it's just Wi-Fi enabled for leaderboard. But it does have that rumble steering wheel, and everyone's really excited to find out how well that rumble steering wheel actually works. So Josh is saying, He says, Console Kits, here's a hypothetical. If for some reason it can only be done in one way, which would you prefer? Online only or 2-cab linkable? My vote on that was, let's see, I didn't pull that up. Sorry. My think is online only. Like, and I don't mean leaderboard. Like, leaderboard is not as cool as being able to compete with other people and play, almost like recreate that arcade experience. Leaderboard is fine, but the linkable or being able to play other people. So 2-cab linkable to me makes it sound like it's a wire. Like we're imagining you would link them together with a cable, but that's not necessary. Like if all of the cabinets are going to be Wi-Fi, just have them talk to each other over Wi-Fi. Like I don't really need a USB cable to communicate. Like Wi-Fi would be just fine for this game. You know, it's probably going to say like, here you are. This is where the position the person is on the track. I also want to mention, man, that video, I did not do it justice. I'm all over the place, by the way. That video that right here that's talking about it, he goes in to talk about how, let's see if I can turn it up and see if we can hear it.
Etc. I love this course because it took so much effort to complete.
Yeah.
I could see potential as I watched Daytona USA become popular in Sega arcade facilities in Japan, but I couldn't gauge how it was faring.
Yeah, where is it at?
Which I had a chance to drive. Sometimes players might feel like kicking the cabinet.
Right here.
Basically,
Right here.
I want players to feel better after playing the game.
So a lot of people like to kick cabinets, whatever, but what he wanted to do was make people feel better about playing the game, and he explains how he did it right here. It's so cool.
When I was making supercar theme races, I had a chance to drive, but not for NASCAR. But I did have a chance to walk a lap on the circuit so that I could feel how steep the bank was.
Mm-hmm.
It was so steep that you literally could not stand on it. My favorite course is the oval course.
All right, so
I believe it was the oval course that...
I'm sorry, this is not the spot. I'll just explain it. But he talks about how when you do a lap in Daytona, and let me know if you guys know about this. I did not hear about it before. This is the first time I heard about it from that video. When you play a lap, the AI is analyzing you. It's analyzing what type of player you are. And there's 2 modes that all the cars are at. And some of the cars are in different modes. And basically, a car can be in a mode of it's trying to, like, basically run you off the road. It's, like, hitting you. It's trying to make it so the game is difficult. And the other side of the AI is giving you an opening. It's like, and he kind of shows in the video, like, it literally shows a car, like kind of separating and helping you so you can go between them and, like, dodge the other cars. And it's based on how you're playing. And ultimately, when you're playing Daytona, the game designer wanted you to enjoy it. And so the AI is trying to... Is that the rubber band AI? Is that what's called? I've heard people talk about rubber band AI, but I guess I never heard it explained like that. And this is me. I guess he's gonna try to slingshot past you. Okay, Stringer Films with Super Chat. He says, "You see the documentary on Daytona Composer? Oh, I must be a poser because I don't know about the Daytona Composer. There we go. The music composer. I gotta check this out. See, this is the exciting thing about this hobby. Where at first, Daytona is a game that I would play occasionally in the arcade. I played it on the Dreamcast. You know, it's a fun game, whatever. But now you guys are talking about, because of doing this podcast, I did just a little bit of researching on Daytona. Not even that much. And I'm already, like, it's like self-FOMO, right? It's like, man, you are giving me FOMO when it's not even announced yet. Like, I know. Me researching into it, and then you guys talking about, like, oh, rubber banding is NBA Jam. Like, this is cool. Like, now I got to go look and make sure I understand exactly, like, rubber banding. I've heard the term, but are we talking about the same thing? Is this thing where, like, the AI is analyzing you and making changes to kind of make the game a more pleasurable game for you? That's really cool. I think that's really, really awesome. Man, so now I'm getting more excited about, so what year was Daytona? Does anyone know the Daytona? Let's see, Daytona Arcade. Daytona Arcade. I don't have that off the top of my head. Year release. Okay. 1994. That's right. And Daytona USA came out in 98. Now, quick search, that's the Sega Saturn version. That's what's coming out when I put it in there. Wikipedia and search. So the Model 2 Daytona USA Sega AM2, 1993. It was developed in 93 and released by Sega in 1994. Daytona USA is an arcade racing game developed by Sega AM2 in 1993 and released by Sega in 1994. Players race stock cars on one of the 3 courses. The first game released on the Sega Model 2 three-dimensional arcade system board, a prototype debuted at the Tokyo Amusement Machine Show in August 1993 and was located and was location tested in Japan the same months before the game released in March of 1994. There you go. That's my best impression of modern vintage gamer reading Wikipedia. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, no problem, man. That was a good question. I didn't know the answer. Let's find the answer, right? But that's not all, guys. Like, Daytona is really exciting, and I think Arcade1Up will eventually do it. They got Sega in the bag. I don't think there's any problems there. But I think the thing that's stopping them is the technology. The chipset that they currently use in the Arcade1Up cabinets, I'm curious if they're able to do something like Daytona. I think it's right on the line. Kind of depends on the company doing the emulation. Can they get some optimizations in there? Or as years goes by, they'll start using different PCBs, and they'll increase what they can handle. But that's not all, guys. We also have the topic of, let's see, what is it? Do I have anything pulled up for? Yeah, there we go. House of the Dead. What about House of the Dead? Now, of course, you guys know. Do you guys remember in 2020, Retro Ralph did a video on House of the Dead, and he shows how you can mod an Arcade1Up cabinet. And what do you do with your Arcade1Up cabinet to play House of the Dead? He used a Wii. This guy was pretty cool, right? Retro Ralph back in the day when he was covering Arcade1Up modding, he would. I love the guy, right? Of course, you guys know that. But the Wii is a 4x3 console. I even was reviewing this earlier. Look at this guy, even using the HD RetroVision cables for the Wii. Well, those are great cables, and then use that. He showed how to do it. You guys got to check it out. He showed different ways to be able to connect the HDMI. And then I think I remember we talked to Bob about finding one that was decent. And there's different like prices and compatibilities for the different mods that you can do out there. And this one was being able to get component, video, and audio. You got to check out his video about how to play House of the Dead on an Arcade1Up doing kind of your own mod from Retro Ralph. I did a search for House of the Dead, kind of do some research, and I was like, boom, Retro Ralph showed up. I was like, okay, let's just talk about it, right? He can sue me or put a copyright claim if he's mad that I showcased his video for 2 seconds, but, he won't do that, buddy of mine, right? What about Todd Tuckey? Todd Tuckey has a lot of videos on House of the Dead, and you can kind of get a look at what that cabinet is like. Definitely check out TMT Amusements for when you're doing research on cabinets and, how it works. And Todd Tuckey is awesome resource. Also sells a lot of these cabinets. But in this video, he shows off the House of the Dead. And, of course, if you go to that Senden Technology, that is listed as one of the cabinets that... Do I have that up still? I'm not sure if I do. The Senden Technology, Senden Light Gun right here. We got House of the Dead 1, 2, 3, and 4. Senden Technology supports that, so that'd be kind of like this new Arcade1Up T2 cabinet that there's some videos. Bkong did a video with the first person that has the T2 cabinet, so you guys want to check that out. I have a community post on that, so go to my channel and you'll see it, or go to Kongs R Us YouTube channel. He's popular in the 1UP community. He did an interview with the person that got early access to the Terminator 2 cabinet. Now, this uses Senden technology, of course. That signature white border typically will tell you that's using a Senden technology. And then you combine that with, House of the Dead being brought to us by Sega. So it's a big cabinet title that a lot of people want. Literally, like, everybody's saying, like, the next shooting cabinet has got to be House of the Dead. And so you put it all together, guys. You put it all together. And Sega is going to be what launches. It's kind of funny when you think about it. I always think that Arcade1Up is going to be one of those companies that eventually they could get Nintendo. Maybe. I know it's a big debate, and people are really easy out there saying, like, Arcade1Up will never do a Donkey Kong, will never do. But we do know that is a goal of theirs. That is, think about it. If someone you knew had a goal, they had a goal that they wanted to reach, and then you constantly was like, never going to happen. Oh, you want to lose weight? Oh, you're trying to lose 50 pounds? Never gonna happen. You're gonna stay fat for the rest of your life. That's kind of mean when you think about it, right? That same analogy is like Arcade1Up really eventually wants to work with Nintendo and put out a Donkey Kong. And for you to say, like, never gonna happen, it's like kind of mean. It's like telling a fat person they're never gonna lose weight, because that's one of their goals, right? And so how are they gonna do that? And I'm here to say, through Sega, which is kind of weird, right? Sega, back in the day, the big competitor to Nintendo, and now, Sega games are on Nintendo, whatever. No one cares anymore. But you got see, there we go. We got long ends, like, never gonna happen. Really? But here's the thing. I hope it does happen, and Arcade1Up's growth is dependent on, I think, that happening. Like, here's the thing. Like, I think Arcade1Up would succeed even if they become so popular that they get so many cabinets sold that Nintendo decides to come out with a Donkey Kong on their own. They're like, we don't need you, but cool idea. We're going to do our own Donkey Kong in our own style, and there you go. Sweet. I'm totally going to buy that. And we'll all know that if Nintendo ever does finally come out with, like, some weird 30th or 35th or 40th anniversary Donkey Kong cabinet that's kind of in the 3/4 space, we'll all know that Arcade1Up put out the carpet for them, the red carpet, to be able to get them out there, because they've done so much to kind of bolster this home arcade community and people liking the idea of actually owning an arcade that's modern and LCD screen in their home. But it's also possible that Nintendo could come out with like a white label where the Nintendo says, and they do that. They do that. The NES Classic was not made by Nintendo per se. They outsourced some of that work to contractors and people that they work with. Nintendo works with contractors all the time. So they could contract that to Arcade1Up and say, you're going to use our emulator. Here's the rules and regulations. You can run the project, but and you can't use our name. That's also a possible. What I'm trying to say is Nintendo would come out with a Donkey Kong cabinet, and we never know that it's actually Arcade1Up partnering with them. We wouldn't know because it would be like white labeled. Anyway, but House of the Dead is definitely on the list that people keep on saying they really, really want. And I wonder if the reason why we haven't seen some of these titles is Arcade1Up knows they have to get these titles right. They have to get them right. And Brett Lewis with the super chat, he says, House of the Dead would be awesome. Would be definitely need Lethal Enforcers 1 and 2 as well. And that makes me think, thanks for the donation, and it makes me wonder if Arcade1Up does come out with House of the Dead, it's probably going to be exclusive House of the Dead, right? It's not going to have other shooters on there. And that's the thing. I think they can get away with that. I mean, they're doing it with T2, right? T2, there's a market for it. There's a market for the T2. It only has one game on it. And I think they're testing the market to see exactly how big the market is for, like, hey, we got a cab that only has one game on it. What do you guys think about that? And there's going to be people that get it. And guess what? If Arcade1Up comes out with a Star Wars trilogy and it only has the Star Wars trilogy game on it, one game, which, by the way, Arcade1Up has said that this year there will be yet another cabinet that only has one game. Really hope it's Star Wars trilogy. That would be really cool. And we're going to see, I think, about 4 or 5 Pro line this year. I think it's pretty clear that it's going to be their top heavy hitters. Probably Street Fighter. We already know about the Killer Instinct Pro. Pac-Man. I might get a Pro line Pac-Man. Maybe it's less expensive. It's got that flat angle. But will we see any of these Sega titles? If they're going to come out with 15 to 20 new products this year, we got to see something from Sega. We got to see something from Sega. And I just hope it's one of the games that we've mentioned here. Here's an interesting comment. With T2, its license issue, there's no real reason they wouldn't put Virtual Cop and House of the Dead cabinet if they ever made one. Yeah, see, I think licensing issue is one thing. You're right. Like, why wouldn't they do it? But they're probably just not going to, because they know if they sell the game separately, then you'll have to buy two of them. Or keep in mind, some of these new cabinets have the ability to do SD card on the side. Like, I think they can sell games a la carte through Wi-Fi, or they can sell you the ROM and then you sideload that, pair it up to your machine, and it, like unlocks more games. Their newer generation, probably even like the T2 line, like everything that came out in 2021, all of these cabinets are among those newer cabinets that have that SD card slot on the side. And that's said to be for future-proofing, just in case they want to sell games down the line. So why not do a thing like that where you come out with Lethal Enforcers, you come out with House of the Dead, and a handful of other shooting games that are from the same publisher, and then make it where, well, if you wanted to just buy the game but add it to the other shooter send-in machine, we'll let you do that. And maybe if it's cross-publisher, they could do that. I don't think they'd do it day one, but maybe like after those games have already been sold and they're out there, and then, they have both models out there, and they're like, hey, you want to buy the other game? You can buy it cross cabinet. Like, eventually, I think they'll do that, or at least they create it in such a way where they could do that, and that was that's kind of their plan. So we got another voicemail. Let's check it out. Another voicemail from, I think it's Peter Griffin.
Hey, my main dog, doggy dog, Justin. Kids, how you doing, man? This is Peter Griffin, Electric Drums. Yeah, man, you guys got to check out my drum channel, man. I've been just tearing apart some Striper lately. Anyways, man, my go-to, number one, I will sell my car. I'll even sell my mom.
What?
Okay? If Arcade1Up comes out with a Pro Cab Star Wars trilogy. Star Wars trilogy is it, man. It is the game. It's the funnest game, arcade game ever made. Ever. I'm gonna make that statement, Justin. Ever made. The soundtrack, while you're playing it, you feel like you're actually in the movie. Okay? So if they make a Pro Cab Star Wars trilogy, I'm like I said, man, I'm selling my mom, putting her on the street. I'm going to sell my car. I'll do whatever it takes, okay? And I'm going to get that cab. All right, guys. Peace out.
Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you so much for calling in. I didn't know that, I'd sell my mom, my wife, my baby mama. That's what How to Bachelor is saying. Wow. Yeah, but CT Jason's like, I can't sell my mama for no cab. Oh, my God. Wow. So Peter Griffin, he wants that Star Wars. He wants that Star Wars so bad. All right, so we got another call in. Let's check it out. Here we go.
Hey everybody, it's CT Jason. I just want to introduce my boy, Zohar.
That's so Zohar calling in.
AKA Console Fanboy. He is now with the red and the black. Death to all.
See how Zohar does it? I think his beginning is good. You gotta have more gruff though. Let's hear it again.
Hey everybody!
No, it's hey everybody. You gotta the back of your throat. So like when you're singing and screaming, right? There's like all these different voices you can do, and so try to scream softly. You're like, and sometimes you gotta crack your voice to get it. So you're like, it's CT Jason. You gotta get some grunge in there. Gotta get some, I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time. It's CT Jason. CT Jason. That's how it's done, Zohar. Not this weak sauce that you got.
Hey, everybody, it's
He's like, hey, everybody, it's CT Jason.
CT Jason. I just want to introduce my boy, Zohar, a.k.a. Console Fanboy.
Nope.
He is now with the red and the black. Death to all that are playing with NWO,
Zohar's just shouting. He's just shouting is all he's doing.
black and white, and twisted. Whether you get the key, the sticks, the buttons, whatever you get, he ain't no match for my boy, Console Fanboy. All right. Hi, Justin. Love your show. This CT Jason. Come out.
You sound nothing like CT Jason. Anyway. And the thing is when you're doing an impression, you have to, like, not only try to sound like the person, but you got to say things that they would say. And there's no way CT Jason would ever shout out Zohar, Console Fanboy. So, like, it doesn't work. It doesn't connect. It doesn't connect. You know? Like for example, I was doing an impression that people like that's, Overthink Gaming. And, like, he talks a certain way, and then he does the gestures, and then the things he says are like, let me tell you about this drama that's going on, right? It's like this weird, it's like Seinfeld, I gotta tell you, and then you gotta put a little bit of accent in there, throw it in there. It's like, I gotta tell you. Anyway, and you do the hands and whatever. Like, but CT Jason, it's like, let me tell you about welcome back. He's like, got the story he's gonna tell you. Anyway. King of Cobra, he is saying if they do Donkey Kong, it would have to include Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong 3. It has to be the exact replica of the original cabinet with the monitor behind the plexi. 100%. And I think if Nintendo got involved, they would demand that, and the tent. Like recently, I have I don't know if you can, I don't think you can see it. It's like over here. Hold on a second. Let me guys show you what I'm talking about. Hey, how's it going? I'm getting close to the camera here, and that's kind of weird. So all the way back there, if you can see, it looks like a Donkey Kong, right? Looks exactly like a little Donkey Kong. It's blue. It's a Play Choice 10. So I got a Play Choice 10 back there, and it has, and someone recently asked on Twitter, they're like, let's see if I can crank up the lighting. Yeah, you can kind of see it back there. Anyway, I put it all the way in the corner. No one puts Play Choice in the corner. Anyway, so that's the it's blue just like the Donkey Kong. It's the shape of the entire thing. And then it has a tinting as well. Not only is it got that plexi there, but it is tinted. Someone recently on Twitter was like, is it tinted? And I looked at it. I was like, yeah, it's tinted. It's definitely tinted, that's for sure. Hold on, I got to fix my camera here. Hi, T. Hi. What movie is that from? Do you guys know what that movie's from? Hi, T. Anyway, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I think that Arcade1Up is going to, they are going to release new cabinets, and, oh my gosh, we got another. Seriously, Zohar? Okay, 6 seconds of Zohar. Here we go.
I'll get you next time. That's it.
Yeah, tent, not tent. What are you guys talking about? It has a diffusion of light on the plexiglass. Is what I'm trying to say. Let's see. Do you load up all the Nintendo games on in the Play Choice? That is. What are you guys talking about? Talking about the Play Choice again? So I have a Play Choice 10, and the 10th slot is, I think I have a video on it. It's like having a Play Choice in 2020 or 2021 or whatever. But what I do is I have, what's it called? The Game Link or something like that. It's basically the ability to play Nintendo games on a Play Choice 10. It's like an adapter. And then I plug an emulator card on it. Power Pack, I guess the guy who created the Game Link, I want to say it's called, recommends the Power Pack. And I just so happen to collect EverDrives and Power Packs. I have like 3 or 4 different ones. My channel is called Console Kits, and I used to do a lot of mod on consoles. And so customers would send me their Nintendos, and I would repair them. And then I would have all the emulator cards and verify that it still works. So like literally someone complained like, hey, you replaced this and then now this doesn't work. And I would just be like, let me go buy that thing. And then every single time I mod a console, I always make sure that all those things work. So I have a couple EverDrives, different versions, and then I have the power pack. So I plugged the power pack into the play choice. So when you see the play choice, you'll see 9 games, 9 of my favorite games, you know, like the games that I just love to play. Punch-Out's on there, Mario 1, 2, and 3, you know, like there's the list of games that I really love. And then I have the power pack, and you click on there, and then it's all 700 Nintendo games. So that's what I do with the play choice. So yeah, it's kind of like a multi-cade Nintendo cabinet. It's good, but I still want a Versus. That's my second cabinet that I really want to get. That's authentic. That's a vintage one. Is the Versus, probably Versus Mario. Like I want Versus Mario really, really bad. So I've been looking at it. That's another cabinet that it's on my bucket list. Like I gotta own. I don't have a lot of cabinets that I gotta own, but that's one of them that I just want that cabinet. Anyway, anyone know where you can find the 1UP Frogger stool? Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know that one. What? Some people were talking about music. I'm gonna end the stream now. It was great hanging out with you, and sometimes I'll watch back. I don't like watch back me, but I'll go read all of the comments that people say because I really do care about the community and the things that they say in the channel. And then if you're watching on the replay, comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you as well. I love reading all the comments. It's a hobby. Like making content is a hobby. Talking to people is a hobby. All of that is included. And some people are talking about music. There is one song that I want to play for you guys, and I'll make another live stream in just a second. It's one song. There'll be a second stream because I'll get a copyright claim on it. And I don't want this video to get a copyright claim. I want everyone to be able to watch it with limited ads because whenever I do a song, they put like 1 million ads on there. So I can't control that. I can't turn that off. Anyway, so it's been fun hanging out talking about Sega on this Sunday. I hope you guys have a great week. In just a moment, I'll go live again and we'll do one song. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.